10 minutes before 8, we were telling you just before the break that this morning we got some lovely little visitors here at the SABC. Our four-legged furry friends are outside the building. They've been playing there since early in the morning, and they haven't stopped actually. I mean, these guys have just been playing with the balls and tumbling all over the lawn and just having the greatest of time. It is so sweet looking at them, it really is. But Ayanda is much, much closer to them this morning. Ayanda, have you at least picked one up? Have you played with one? Have you left that little patch of grass that you've been standing on? I don't even know where you are in conjunction to these gorgeous little dogs.
A very good morning to you, Lee. And yeah, I've just scratched one's little tummy. They've rolled around and we've played fetch. And you know what it's like playing fetch with a dog, right? Once you start, they won't let you stop. So you throw the ball and you say, okay, enough now. And they bring the ball back. And you throw it and they bring the ball back. But, if you were wondering where Valen was a moment or two ago, she came downstairs to see these little guys. Our cameramen have been giggling every 2 minutes and just watching these guys play. And such is the effect of having a pet, Leanne. It's very, very important. And that is why SABC CVC does the work that it does. It prides itself in offering absolutely low-cost veterinary services in under-resourced communities because they understand the importance of human-animal bonds. So to speak to us a little bit more about the psychosocial effects of having an animal, we're joined now by Dr Rissa Parker. She is stationed out in Bizana, heading up the CVC clinic there. And also, she's a master when it comes to equine veterinary. So that's much ado about horses. Doc, it's such a pleasure to have you with us. So good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and thank you for having us on the show.
So let's start by the importance of having a pet. Why is it so necessary?
Well, I think the most important part is that dogs have been known as man's best friend for centuries. And they make fantastic companions. They've been shown to be assistants in depression, in health problems. They've now shown that just by patting a dog, you release oxytocin in your body, which is a feel-good hormone. So they've actually shown this scientifically. It hasn't just been, oh, well, we think it makes us feel better. They're actually proving it does. The other important thing that we're seeing with having pets and teaching people about their pets is if children care for their pets and wounds on their pets, they start caring for themselves. So it's a very useful way of educating, not only looking after your pet, but actually looking after yourself and your family and that environment. And they've been used a lot in children with Alzheimer's, the other developmental problems. And those children will communicate with the dog when they won't communicate with people. And so they've used the dogs as an interactive face for problems. And I know earlier you mentioned the post-traumatic stress syndrome. They're using the dogs to communicate with those people who feel they can no longer communicate with people. So there's a huge human-animal interaction that we are exploring. I think we're only at the beginning of the discovery of how fantastic this relationship actually is.
I mean, you spoke to me about advancements in cancer as well. The dogs can be trained to detect cancer cells and be used to diagnose someone. You spoke about epilepsy as well.
So the dogs are trained to pick up scent that we can't even smell. We have no idea what they're picking up, but we give them cancer cells to train them, and they will then detect those cells on someone who has cancer. Or if you're an epileptic, they will warn you when you're about to have an epileptic fit. So how fantastic. You're driving your car, your dog barks at you and says, hey, you're about to have a fit, pull off the road, and you can be safe. They're using them for diabetics to warn them that their insulin, that their glucose levels are too low, they need to inject themselves with insulin. So these are amazing uses of the dogs. And the search and rescue is another field that we are using the dogs for. So these dogs of mine are trained in search and rescue. They're part of canine search and rescue. They will find people who are missing either in a building that's collapsed or out in the wilderness because they pick up that scent that we as humans have lost that ability to do.
I love it. And the work that you do for me dispels the myth that pets are just for white people, as we've said, because you work out in Bizana. In fact, the community there have given you this outfit that you're wearing. I'm not sure if we can zoom out and see this lovely, lovely patchwork. I'm not sure what it's called. In fact, one of our cameramen told us what it's called, but I've soon forgotten. It just goes to show that ordinary South Africans, every South African, black, white, colored, Indian, you name it, we all have that capability and the capacity to love pets.
Well, the amazing thing is that the man who works for me, Olele Ngezi, comes from Bizana, and he used to say to me, please come and help me with the horses and the dogs up in my community, because my people love their animals. And that's how we started the project. So we went up there, we discovered how many horses were there. In fact, there are more than 10,000 horses just in the Bizana area near Kokstad. And we've started vaccinating there against what we call African horse sickness, which is a disease that kills horses in South Africa. And those horses need to be vaccinated. And the problem with the vaccine is it has to be refrigerated to be active. And most people don't have access to refrigeration, so the vaccine becomes inactive, and that was a problem. So we go up and we vaccinate these ponies.
A job well done, and congratulations to you. We're going to have to leave it there just for the time being. And when we come back, we want to see a practical demonstration of what happens to these four-legged friends of ours. So when they get vaccinated, when they get sterilized, when they get checked up, and also just trying to educate you and I, who may have a pet, on how to see whether or not our buddy's not feeling too well. So maybe there's something in the eyes, behind the ears. I don't know. We'll find all that and more in just a moment. Do stay with us. In about an hour's or so time, we'll be able to bring you that information.